get started. Do you guys have any specific questions or anything that you guys wanted to talk about today? Anything on your mind?
I'm just kind of curious to know, I know you guys make calls all the time, so I'm curious to know if you're going back on people that you've already talked to, or if you're still making cold calls to new people, or if you're just kind of like circling back on people you've already talked to before.
Yeah.
That's kind of like where we're trying to figure out where to go.
Yeah, that's a good question. So we're still doing both. So all of our current lead sources, we've replaced. So a lot of times, our ISAs, when they get to the end of the day, they do start just calling, archive type old leads that we don't really know a whole lot about. And they really replaced that with past clients. So we had a goal to call all of our past clients in the next 2 weeks. So that would be last week and this week. So we've temporarily replaced some of that in an effort to get through to everybody. And then, but for sell by owners, expireds, any new leads, we still have all of our pay-per-click and stuff like that coming in, and we're still taking care of that just like we always would.
Okay.
Yeah. I have a script to share with everybody a little bit later that I got from my coach for calling people during this, shift type movement. And it's really good. And I've honestly been using it on just about everybody I've called. So even those leads that you're following up with that are a little farther off, like you don't have anything really pressing to talk about, they're not ready yet, that sort of thing. I've been using this script with them to just checking in on them. It's an easy call to make with just about anybody. So honestly, the script looks a lot the same no matter who we're calling. So we can talk about that a little later. I put my contact information in the chat box. So if you guys have questions or if you want to call or text me later, feel free to do that. And so I have some stuff that I wanted to talk about today. I had gotten some information from, my coach, just with what's going on with kind of the shift and everything. So we can start with that and then just kind of go into questions. If you guys want to do that, that sounds good.
That's great.
Okay. So, one of the things that we've heard a lot lately is Gary Keller talking about how we need to double down on lead gen. And so I had to really stop and think about what that might look like, because I already lead gen full time. So, for somebody who might lead gen for 2 hours a day, that might look like 4 hours a day. Or if you're looking for 10 contacts a day, maybe you're doubling it to 20 contacts. And so we really kind of had to stop and think about, what does that look like? So I was kind of curious from you all, what have you been doing, or have you been doing anything different in your lead gen in the last week or two in an effort to really keep in front of people, or just what have you been doing?
I have been talking to my sphere, and it's just a lot of people that I have not talked to in a long time.
Yeah.
And I found out that we had such a close relationship that it's taking me a long time, taking me half an hour to talk to someone.
Yeah.
And I never mentioned business, never. And it always ends up in how's the market going, how you doing, I do not ask for any business. I just say, please keep safe and just praying for everybody, and I'm here for you.
Yeah. I
am having difficulty calling those open house people that I don't know and say, okay, remember me? I met you 4 months ago in an open house. I just wanted to know that I just don't know how to do it.
Yeah. So you struggle the most with calling like an old lead that you really haven't talked to
Right.
in a while. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. A good script for that. So what we do with a lot of those, if like, and sometimes I have that. I'll even look through my notes and be like, man, I don't really know why. I don't remember this person, but I don't know much about them. And so a lot of times I just start with, hey, this is Claire at Adam Grady's office. We met at an open house a couple months ago, and I just wanted to check in and see if you still are looking to buy or sell a house this year.
Mm-hmm.
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 And then I go from there. So, I see if they're still interested. And if they are, then we kind of, you kind of go through your typical pre-qualification, well, if you did move, when would you like to move?
Mm-hmm.
And then, and how would that help you? So then you go into your motivation.
Okay.
And just kind of pre-qualify them that way. But a lot of times that opener, I get a lot of responses back, and sometimes I have to dig. Like sometimes they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I was, oh yeah, we are still looking." Okay, well, are you? And then then you're, are you working with somebody, or, well, why haven't you found what you're looking for? Those sorts of questions.
So at this point, you guys are still looking to generate business, just calling people that you don't know and okay.
Yeah, we are. I'll just share a little stat. I shared it with our team this morning on our call. Between Friday and Monday, we set 1 appointments for the team, which even for our team, that's pretty high in a 4-day period over a weekend. That's a pretty high number. We've actually seen not last week, the week before and last week were some of our highest numbers so far this year for setting appointments.
And people are letting you come to their house and view the house and all that?
They are. Yeah, they're letting us come to their house. We offer, if they, our verbiage is, do you feel comfortable, with meeting with us? Would you feel comfortable with that? From a buyer perspective, we have had a couple people meet here at the office, but a lot of those have moved to more of like a Zoom or virtual phone call, Zoom, something like that. Our held rate is a little bit lower. So, it's more like 50% instead of 60 or 70%. So some of those people, while yes, they want to do something at the end of the day, they are canceling, maybe 10 or 20% more. And a lot of times they have valid reasons. They're older, they don't want to get sick. And we get that. And we just, you really just, you just be a human with them, right? You're like, I totally get it.
So, and also for you guys, safety, are you guys, everybody in your team feels safe going out in appointments and stranger houses, and I know everybody's smart and are careful, but
so far, nobody has to if they don't want to or they don't feel comfortable with it.
Okay.
A lot of us are working from home, and we're doing things virtually. We're, keeping 6 feet away from everybody and wearing gloves and that sort of thing. But everybody still feels safe so far.
Okay, everybody, somebody else.
Anybody else struggling with conversations?
Claire, when you are calling those older leads that you said you didn't have notes on, does the beginning of your conversation, has it changed any, or is it still just straight to like, are you still looking to buy or sell?
Yeah.
It's still the same, you haven't changed? Okay.
No, the only thing that's changed is that extra level of like question and care of like, well, how are you doing right now? And I just say, it's really crazy. Things are pretty crazy right now. Just honestly, how are you? Are you, feeling good? And people seem to really appreciate that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then on your for sale by owners, I know you like your for sale by owners. Are you approaching those any different? I mean, I don't like to put like fear into other people, but like, are you approaching it with like, we can protect you from people entering your home? Are you going that route with it, or are you just kind of keeping it your same script?
Yeah, our script's still the same. Again, the question comes up like, we might say something along the lines of, well, how are you protecting, yourself with, the virus threat? And if they have an answer, that's great. And if they don't, we just tell them, well, we've got a sanitizer kit that we've got at all of our listings to help keep our sellers safe. Whether they find, they might find value in knowing that we take that extra step, and also it would give them an idea of something they could do to stay safe as well. But it's just that extra, question. It's a big talking point. So it's a reason to ask another question and have a little bit of a longer conversation that might help you connect with them better.
Okay.
Yeah. I will say that I feel like the conversations, I think in the back of people's mind, they are wondering if now's a great time to try to sell. So they're actually asking more questions than we would typically get. A lot of times they're a little more standoffish, and they're actually engaging a little more and asking questions about the market and, what we think, just because they don't know. And so this is not from our team, but I was on the phone with another coach earlier this week, and they coach a team, and they said that team, I don't know how large the team is, they had 15 for sale by owner appointments that week. Like, they were all like, as soon as like this all came through, they just, I guess they all just were like, nope. But I have not seen that, but I have heard that from other people. So I thought that was interesting. Yeah. What about anybody else? You guys have questions, any conversations that you're struggling with?
Yes. Can you hear me, Claire? This is Paulina.
I can. Hey. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
It looks like she's muted again.
Yeah, let me try to unmute. Hey, Paulina, I just unmuted you. Do you want to try again?
Yes. Can you hear me now?
I can now, yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I was reading somewhere, and it said that during a government stay-at-home advisory, we're not allowed to be cold calling. Do you know anything about that? Is that true?
I don't know. I saw something about that for New York. I don't know if it applies to Missouri or not. That's a good question, though.
Okay.
Maybe I'll send Travis a message and ask him if he knows that's in Missouri. Yeah.
Okay. Because I know, like, following up with your current clients, your database, that's not really considered cold calling, but calling expired listings or for sale by owners would be. So I just want to make sure that I'm not doing anything wrong and I'm still actually allowed to be calling people.
Sure. I think that's a really great question. I'll send Travis a message and ask him if he's aware. I guess that might even be a broker question. I don't know. But yes,
okay.
I have seen something similar for other states. I haven't seen anything for Missouri yet.
Okay.
So I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah, we'll touch base with them. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions? Okay. So we were kind of starting out the conversation about doubling down on lead gen. And I think most people go to, that's twice as much, twice as much on lead gen, and that could be true. I've also taken that as how can we be smarter with lead gen, not necessarily, twice as many hours, right? So We've done some things, utilizing command and technology to help us stay connected. We've been doing a lot more social media. So social media, I've heard recently is up to 200%. And so if you're making posts and you're staying active on social media, that you should be getting more people should be seeing you. So that's one way. I've been doing a lot of text messaging. There's a texting app called Twilio through Command. There's also some other third parties, and I've been texting some of our archives. I have to do it in groups of I think it's 600 or something like that, but I've been sending out mass text messages to my database and to different groups of people, just checking in on them, asking if we can help. So I think that's a really great use of, technology and helping you out. So if you haven't been texting, using any of the campaigns and things in Command, I think that's a really great way of leveraging of the technology to help with the doubling down on lead gen. So anyway, that's something I found really helpful so far this year, the text messages from some of those people. And we've talked a little bit about who we're calling. We're still doing all of our normal lead sources. The leads are coming in. We have a pretty strict policy on our team of we answer every lead within 5 minutes. And we really still adhere to that. So any new lead, we jump on right away. You have the highest chance of getting an answer if you call it within the first 5 minutes. There's an actual statistic to that. I don't remember the exact number, but it's a much higher response rate if you call them in the first 5 minutes. So really we're doing speed lead on all of our new leads, and then refocusing while we are still doing the archive calling, maybe a little bit of calling. We're mostly transferring that time back to our database and past clients. So we're calling our sphere, we're calling past clients. I've actually found a lot of success in checking back in. So if you keep a good list and have people that you met with that didn't sign with you, or even that's an appointment that maybe canceled, whenever you can go back a year or two, if you had it. Those have been really great conversations too. Those people remember you and they appreciate you checking back in, whether they did something or not. So we've had a lot of success with recalling those people and having good conversations and finding that they're still in need, even if it's not right this second to do something. So we've had to help with that. And even my simple follow-ups. I keep, when I say a follow-up, I keep a list of people that I think are going to transact in the next 12 months that I personally am calling every week or every month or whatever it might be. And really using, the same script about just checking in with them. And they've been really responsive to that too. So, people love knowing that you care, that you're checking in on that. And I have a script. I don't know if I should have a list of everybody here. I can email it out. I don't know if I want to switch my screens, but I have a script from my coach about the shifting market that I would love to send out. And they have a list. Great. We can email this list. We can email this out to everybody. But when I'm calling these people, I'm just like, hey, this is Claire at Adam Brady's office. I'm not calling about anything real estate related today. I'm just calling to check on you. How are you doing? And then just asking how they're doing, how's their family, do they have a need? If they're elderly, I'm going to ask if they're you know, have you been feeling good? Do you need anything? That sort of thing. And then to end it, I tell them that, hey, we want to be a resource for you during this these hard times, or during the craziness. I don't know, we want to be a resource for you during all of this. What's your best email address? And so I'm making sure I have the best email. And then I'm also asking what real estate questions do you have? You know, making sure they're not yes or no questions. And that has made, that has been my script for about everybody I've been calling in the last week. And I think it's that first line, like you can hear people, you know, there's people, if there's people that you, like Liana mentioned that she dreads calling, right? She doesn't, you know, it's an open house from 4 months ago, you know, and you're like, oh, they're not going to remember me, and you have all these thoughts about, you know, why you shouldn't call them. It's a really, really easy script. And people, you hear people's, your emotions change. So you say, you know, hey, I'm not calling about real estate, I'm just really wanting to check in on you today. You know, how are you doing? And their whole, like, you know, you can just hear the shift on the phone from them, you know, wondering what you're going to ask them. Just, you know, oh my gosh, well, that's really nice. You know, I'm doing okay. And then they ask how you're doing, right? So then, how are you doing? How's the market? That sort of thing. And it leads into a really natural conversation that, you know, it's been a really script the last couple weeks.
Hey Claire, you're kind of starting to get distorted a little bit. Do you want to try to reconfigure your microphone or something? Like sometimes it's okay and then it'll start to distort.
Let me see. I wonder if it's because of where I have this. Is this any better?
Yeah.
Okay. My computer is actually a little noisy. Like one of my monitors, I think it gets a little crazy.
Yeah, that sounds a lot better. You sound a lot more clear.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. Do I need to re-say anything or?
Maybe go through, were you just going through the script?
Yes. Yeah.
I would maybe just do some of those key points again for your script.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the script is really just asking how, you know, I'm not calling about anything real estate related, just want to check in on you. How are you doing? How's your family? You know, are you stuck at home? Are you working from home? Those are some of the questions I've been asking. And then, you know, we want to be a resource for you. What's your best email address? That way you've got their best contact information. And then to follow it, we'll follow it up. We'll, you know, what real estate questions do you have? Or what questions do you have on the market? And just, you know, letting them, you know, most people do. I've had almost everybody be like, you know, how is it? That's what they always say. How is it? So, yeah. So it's a really great script. I encourage you to use that and really use it to reconnect with those people that you haven't been sure, you know, that you might have hesitated to call because you don't really know what you're going to say, right? It makes it an easy conversation. Try to think. What other questions do you guys have?
Hey, Claire.
Uh-huh.
Julie, hi. I have had several people who have expressed a concern that they are facing a job layoff, concerned about whether the value of their home, even if they're able to go on some sort of forbearance with mortgage, they're concerned about the value of their home, whether they're going to lose that, whether they need to contact their mortgage lender. Have you had any of that come up in your calls?
I haven't in my calls. No, I haven't. I haven't had a lot of. So I shouldn't say that. So I've had some buyers expressed that they're just a little uncertain on their job for the next couple months.
Right.
And so they're wanting to hold off. And, at that point, I think that's when you just kind of have to, you can ask more questions about it, so you make sure you understand it. But, that's not it's not really an objection that you can overcome.
Well, gosh, no.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
So, at that point, you want to be a resource. We'll have you talk to a lender to see what that would look like. And that's probably where I would go with it, and make sure that they're informed with good, solid information.
Right.
And if they don't have that, I would probably try to get them with my lender, just so they can ask those questions, and then, be like, let me have, Josh call you or whoever it is, and then I'll follow up next week and we'll see what you want to do.
It's been primarily with listings where
Mm.
through my sphere and talked to a couple of first-time home buyers that are in a house and have only been in there for X amount of time that have those concerns about making the mortgage payments, that sort of thing, as opposed to, buyers are either going to go or hold on, but they're not going to just, but it's the people in my sphere that are either existing listings or are considering listing or are past buyers
Yeah.
concerned.
What have you been telling them? Like, what do you think is a good way to handle that?
Lots of validation for starters. I can sure be concerned about that. There is some relief on the way, and it's important to communicate with your lender and see if you're eligible at this point to refinance or they have a repayment program. Right now, the government is working with specific providers so that you're not going to run into the same trouble that you did. You'll still have late payment fees. And then just kind of talking them through it.
Mm-hmm.
I have one that wants to list because they're afraid their jobs won't be there when they come back.
Mm.
And so we had the conversation about, certainly I'm happy to help you, but where would you go next? What does that look like? But I think that that's the fear that we're facing. I do have things that have gone on hold because of everything that's going on, and they're both elderly. And what do you say?
Yeah.
I mean, what I said was, I can really understand that. That probably is a great idea.
Yeah.
Toilet paper.
Yeah.
Can I drop anything off?
That's exactly right. Yeah.
I dropped off fresh eggs, by the way. So yeah, I mean, it was a valid conversation. Goat snuggles, we're offering a variety of services here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We've done the same thing. And yeah, and I think I put myself in their shoes. We had a client, and, his wife has cancer. And he's like, I just can't let people in my house. And I'm like, I totally get it.
Yeah.
If they were my grandparents, I would be like, no, you're not doing that right now.
Right.
So, yeah, I think we just have to be understanding, if somebody's genuinely afraid, and they're afraid of the market, we just have to be human with them, right? We just have to, agree with them, sympathize with them, and then make sure they're armed with the best information. And if we can help get them that information and maybe ease their mind a little bit, that's great. And, and then move on. I honestly haven't gotten a lot of that, Julie. Now, Adam might have. Adam may be getting more.
Right. He may be talking to different people.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I didn't think about that because I called through the last 12 months for openers. And so
yeah,
I'm touching everybody. But
Carrie may have heard some of that. We're not really getting what I'm getting more pushback from my perspective is just meeting with anybody for health reasons, right? They're just they're wanting to meet virtually, or they're not wanting to meet at all, or at least not. I'm not getting no's. I'm getting, I really want to. I just need a couple more weeks to see what's going on.
Well, that, and if you can't find diapers for your kid, or you can't find, whatever it is you want, somehow listing your house is 2 or 3 down on the list right now.
That's exactly right. Yeah. And I'm asking that, like, do you have a need? Melinda's done some toilet paper runs. Adam went to 3 grocery stores this weekend. to finish a grocery list for one of our clients.
Yep.
And dropped it off at her. So, you know, we've been doing those sorts of things. And I think those are the things that, you know, people remember. You know,
Right.
it makes a big impression, and you really feel good being a part of that.
A lot of times, for those of you who are thinking, where would I ever get those things or how would I ever manage that? The offer is 95% of the gift. The fact that you cared enough to do it. Most people are going to tell you no, or they're okay. And if you're not comfortable going out and doing it yourself, Amazon is still your friend. It's just simply the fact that someone asked and sincerely was validating your concern. We used to do that with a lot of trauma management when I worked for the hospital. And simply being able to vocalize the concern and have someone who's interested and will listen will make you a whole different level in your relationship, no matter what it is.
I agree with that. It's really good. Right. Any other questions about scripting or conversations that they're having right now? No?
What does I had to change my background because my son got up, so if he pops in. What's it look like for your agents? I mean, I know you guys have a team of ISAs, but and I might have missed this when I got off of here for a second, what's lead generation look like right now for your agents? So are they doing anything different?
So our agents are, they're always responsible for their sphere. So just like past clients, they're calling through their sphere. You know, they're calling past clients too. So it's really an all hands on deck. They're doing a lot of that. They are, so it's pretty much the same, just more. So everybody's up their number of contacts that they're looking for every day to try to help, you know, just kind of keep the business moving forward. And then they're all really brainstorming and trying to be creative on, you know, obviously, as I mentioned at the beginning, for us, people are still meeting. They still want to meet, but we know that might not always be the case. And so working on, you know, what that looks like when maybe we can't, or they don't want to meet in person, or maybe the agent doesn't want to meet in person. So really just focusing on, you know, how does that change? You know, how could you take a listing and not go to their house? What does that look like? I don't know if any of you guys follow us on Facebook, but you'll probably see we did a lot of virtual open houses this weekend. I heard Liliana talking about one she did this weekend. So some Facebook Lives and things like that. So those are the biggest things that they're doing different. When we set an appointment for an agent, the agent always does a follow-up call afterwards to introduce themselves. And so they're reiterating, the sanitation type policy, and you do feel comfortable eating, you're feeling well, that sort of thing. They get to reiterate some of those questions.
And then are you guys seeing, it's just something that we're seeing like an uptick of sign calls, like people are driving around, like just looking at houses doing sign calls.
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys seeing that? And I guess that's not really a question, but like, is that something you're seeing in your business too, or have you seen an increase in that?
I would have said no last week, but we did this weekend. We had a really, really busy weekend. And even Friday was busy. So, sign calls kind of roller coaster a little bit in some week, but I wouldn't say I've seen more, but I've seen more than I thought I would see. I thought they would be down a little bit. But all of our lead sources are still trending about the same as they typically would. So the amount of leads that we're getting. Our Facebook campaigns on command, Kelsey runs those. They're really good. You know, that's, we got 39 leads from four Facebook command, whatever they call them in command, that those Facebook ads that Kelsey runs. And we got them for about $1 a piece. And they were good. We've set a couple appointments off of them. And so, you know, that's something that, you know, we're doing a little different in the last couple months. That's one additional, you know, lead source that we've added that's been really good. So if you're not doing that, you may give it a shot.
What's that look like? So speaking of Facebook ads, we kind of got away from that. What's it look like from like the actual lead coming in to all the way to like follow up? Like how long are you staying with them? What's kind of like the pipeline look like?
Yeah, so for the Facebook leads, we're actually putting them back in our other CRM. We don't quite have command to the point where we can do like our new lead gen out of it. So we put them back in our CRM, and our policies is any new lead. It doesn't matter if it's open house, Facebook, pay-per-click. We call them within 5 minutes. If they answer, they either get archived because they're not, you know, they're not valid. They have an agent, they're not looking, or they get put in an ISA's queue with a label of hot, nurture, or watch. So they're either a 0 to 3 month, a 3 to 6 month, or a 6 to 12 month lead. And so they go in there, and we've put an appropriate follow-up based off of that. So a new lead, a lead that we think is going to transact in 3 months, we're going to call every week.
And do you know what your conversion rate off of Facebook is? Have you tracked it long enough to know?
I have it in there. I don't have the numbers. So, and I'm curious about that too, Lindy, and I would be happy to continue to share that if you remind me every now and then. I can look at it, because traditionally leads like that are more of like a 12-month lead. So I could give you my numbers for now, but they're going to change. You know, like pay-per-click leads, they're typically a 12 to 18 month turnaround before they actually transact. I have a suspicion that Facebook leads will be similar. You know, I can tell you out of those 39 that we got, we set 2 appointments. They were a buy sell, and I think like 20 or 25% of them answered out of that group. But again, so if they don't answer, we call them and text them every day for 10 business days. So they get a call and a text every day. And we try to vary that. So sometimes it's the morning, sometimes it's the afternoon. Occasionally an ISA will work an evening to try to get a hold of some of those people. And we do that with every lead. So we give them, you know, 10 solid days, like 10 business days of trying to get a hold of them before we archive them. And a lot of times it's between that 4th and that 6th time that you get the answer. So if you're not calling a lead every day for 5 or 6 days, you're not giving yourself enough opportunity to actually get an answer on that lead.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that's been the most helpful thing. So that helps us get a hold of them. And then again, once we get a hold of them, you know, we've got, you know, our pre-qualification type scripts that help us determine, you know, if we think they're going to transact or not. And they go one of 2 ways. They either get archived or they stay in the ISA's queue. And we continue to follow up weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, depending on how far off they are. Right. Any other questions? Anything outside of even, you know, what's going on just the last week or two?
I'm curious, it's Debbie. I'm curious if anybody else has noticed appraisals taking longer than they were we've got one that's bordering up on the deadline, and the appraiser's just being absolutely silent. And we're not being able to get a hold of them. And I'm wondering, the lender seems to think it's because there's so many refinances going on right now that they're just getting slammed. I didn't know if anybody else has run into that.
We've actually had to do an extension to the appraisal
That's
time
what
because
I'm thinking I'm going to have to do too.
yeah, because we ran into that. And then I do think it's because of refinancing. Everybody's trying to refinance. And then the last lender that we talked to said there was a 3-week wait on appraisals.
Oh,
Because
wow.
we were trying to get a quick close, and she wasn't about it.
Right. Okay, good. It's not just me then. Thank you.
I saw that Melody had chatted in a question about expired. She asked, how about expireds? Are you doing anything different with them? No, still the same script. The script doesn't really change. All of our scripts really lead with motivation. So the first question, for an expired is, well, what had you looking to sell your house? Why were you selling in the first place? For sell by owner, your house looks great. Why are you looking to sell right now? An inbound buyer, I saw you were looking at houses. You registered on our website. What has you looking at homes today? Our first question is always motivation, and we go from there. So, the script never changes because the script is really just an outline for how your call is going to go. So I'm going to ask this question, and I'm going to dig into motivation and handle any objections. And then I'm going to ask this question, and I'm going to handle any objections. And you're just going to go, through the list until you use your, reasoning to determine, is this something I can fix for them? Is it something I can educate them on, or is there nothing, is it, just not right now, or is it not, not somebody that I can help? So, yeah, so the script doesn't really change, just the conversations and the objections can change a little bit. Good question.
I do have a question about open houses. What do you guys think about open houses? Should we still do? I mean, I didn't do one last weekend. Somebody else did, and he had like 15 people show up, and he said he had some business out of it. So what do you guys think?
I don't know. I don't know. I guess that's a kind of a question for everybody on the call. I know we did them at vacant houses over the weekend. And I don't know. I would say that's probably pretty personal to the person holding it. Like, do you feel safe holding it? Does your seller feel safe holding it? I don't know. What are everybody else's thoughts?
I don't think we should be doing open houses right now. I'm not even showing houses unless they're vacant, and I can somehow thoroughly vet the buyers, which, how do you know? You can ask them if they're healthy. What are they going to, they're not going to tell you, and they may not know if they're sick. So I don't know. I'm even not wanting to show buyers right now. I'm just sort of on the fence about it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we should be doing open houses where, even if it's a vacant house, if the people are walking into the house, maybe a virtual open house.
Yeah.
Even if we go into a non-vacant, a seller occupied home, if we're doing an open house,
Yeah.
Maybe request they not be there and be really respectful of wiping things down or not touching things at all. And as far as showing houses, like I've got to walk through Monday, and thank goodness the sellers have already moved out, and I'm just going to ask the buyer, to respect the 6-foot rule and all of that. And I'll take some sanitizer wipes with me. I just think we really need to be cautious of what's going on and respectful of. I think people look to us to make the decisions on that sometimes, and I think we need to be the smart ones.
Yeah. Now, I know some of you had mentioned your virtual open houses. I have a question for you on that. How are you able to capture like your buyer information when you do that? Like, are you doing it as a Facebook Live, or how are you capturing information so you can follow back up? Or is there a way to do that?
Well, I was thinking about that, and I asked my coach, and she said that when it is live, people come in, and you see people coming in and the names of it.
Mhm.
You can't do anything about it because you're busy doing the live.
Sure.
But you go back to the recording, I guess, and you can see who clicked on it, and then contact them from there.
Mm-hmm. So you can go back and look, and then like write down their name and then look them up on Facebook.
Right, message in through Facebook.
Mhm.
Hey, which I haven't done,
Mm-hmm.
but say something about, I saw you looking at my house. What do you think about it? And are you interested in buying or selling a house? Start a conversation from there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think that's great. I think that's a great way, to try and get a hold of somebody, and try it and see what kind of response rate you get. Is it worth?
You guys did some this weekend, didn't you? How did it go?
We did some. I'm not. I'm not 100% sure. I want to say I don't. I know Carrie said she had I don't remember how many people. She said she had a couple groups through. Melinda got 1 or 2 good leads that she sent over my way. She got 2 good buyer options. But I think they did lives too. My coach had mentioned that when you do it, which I don't think you could do a virtual open house very easily through Zoom, because somebody would have to click on a link to do it. But in Zoom, there's a registration required button that requires people to put their email address in. So I have had some people say they do a live to boost like a training, or you could do the live to maybe boost a virtual and then maybe hold it through Zoom. And then you could even save it, right? And you could reshare it later. But then you could capture people's information that way. So I was just curious if you guys had other ways besides Facebook Live to try to capture information as you were doing it.
Well, like I said, I decided I need a cameraman in front of me.
Yeah.
So that was my learning experience.
Yeah, that's funny. I like that. I've thought about that for all these Zoom calls. I need like one of those like cameras that's higher up with like the light ring around it.
I was awake at 3:00 in the morning last night looking for like sticks and stabilizers, and I ordered one. We'll see what was going to happen. But it was at 3:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, do you guys have anything else?
Are you going to share the script with us then? Are you going to send the script?
Yeah, I've got it. I'll send it to you.
I just emailed you everyone's emails, Claire.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I'll just send it right afterwards.
Yep. I made it easy for you, so all you have to do is copy and paste them. I started putting people's names, and I was like, that doesn't help anything. Hey, will you add me as the host again before you get off, so that way I can make sure this downloads? Thank you. This is an awesome, good nuggets.
Yeah, I like it. All right. Well, do you guys have anything else? We can hang out longer and answer questions, or we can go. It's up to you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Claire. That was awesome.
Thank you, Claire.
All right. Thanks, guys. You guys have a good day.
Bye. You too. Thank you.
Do you know how to make me the host again?
I think so.
Woo!
Do it.
Yeah, that's it. Then that way I can stop it and it'll download for me. Yeah, let me know if you need anything else. I sent you all the emails for everybody. But thank you again. We appreciate your help.
Welcome. I'll send that script out. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Bye.
Bye.